Practice? Practice? Who needs practice? I think about the voice of Allen Iverson when in golf we don't have a lot of time to practice, but we enjoy playing the game on the weekends. So I'm going to give you some tips here on how I teach in improving the process to swing by the weekend. And this practice actually requires very minimal golf balls. In fact, you don't have to hit a lot. It's just going to be a bonus when you do go out and spend a little bit of time on the range. So, a couple of things before you get started. You'll notice in my top hand, it's going to look like your left hand for right-handers. I put a little dot with the White Sands Wonder Paint. This is made especially with the sand down from White Sands here in New Mexico. And if you bend up your left wrist, you'll feel a little hole there. That's where your wrist joints work the best. So I put a dot there. And I might as well just get a tattoo there. And then I put a dot straight down on top of golf grips for my students. And I'll also paint the bottom of a golf club with the White Sands Wonder Paint. So you want to kind of get that started. I sell the special paint for $39.95. Can ship it out to you. But what you want to do is you want to pretend there's a drill. And when I say that to my students or make that sound, they turn their top hand over and line up the white dot with the dot on the grip. So they just practice that 300 times away from the golf course. So you just do 300 reps. There's 2, there's 3, etc. And if you don't have a golf club laying around, you can grab about 2 or 3 pins and you can just pretend while you're sitting there at the desk on an airplane, you can just hold on to 2 pins and imagine that you're holding on to a golf club. So there's the grip that's helpful for your top hand. The bottom hand faces the target, the flag, and I call this the bun, your bottom hand, or your right hand for right-handers. And I call that the bun, I call this the hot dog, and I just kind of pocket the hot dog, which is the thumb of your left hand, with the bun of your right hand that's facing the target. So, you do these reps 295 more times. You do it enough to where, here's what I mentioned. You do this enough to where, you don't want to look when you're doing it. You want to do it to where you can kind of feel it over and over. Looking creates, it's a process for very beginners that reinforces, are they doing it right? But pretty soon you want to go, yeah, if I did look down, Coach Todd can drill a hole right through my wrist, right through the grip. So you want to practice that 292 more times to a point to where you can call somebody, put a little earpiece, ear jack in your ear, and talk to somebody about a sporting event or a trip you took, but you're holding on and you're working on your grip and you're paying attention to the conversation. So that's what I'm going to say over and over when I give you a new skill, in this case the grip, that you practice slowly, but all you need is 292 more times. So just kind of do 30 reps of 10 over and over. So now you'll have your top hand on there, and then your bottom hand is the bun, and this is the hot dog, the thumb of your left hand, and you just pocket it again. And you do that about 300 times where the bun covers the hot dog. And you'll notice that my thumbs are slightly off to the side right here. This is not a thumb rest. No. This means no. When I go like that, no. That means whatever I'm going to tell you, Your friends are going to tell you when I go like that. Picture that movie Men in Black where I erase your memory after 1 minute. However, I need to bring it up because your friends are going to bring it up, and they mean well. I used to say those tips 25 years ago, and I'm still trying to find them to give them definitely a free lesson. However, I realized in time certain popular tips has only overwhelmed golfers. So when I go like that, I'm just saying, hey, I'm going to erase your memory because you're going to hear this over and over and over, because I didn't realize those tips that I gave out 25 years ago spread like wildfire across the United States. And I'll bring those tips up from time to time. So there's your top hand. Bun covers the hot dog. So I'm going to do my left and my right hand about 7 more times. Slowly but surely, you'll start to ingrain that. So once you get that, by the way, as I'm looking, you'll kind of notice a popular look among 100 golf instruction books, at least, that I have, and DVDs, not including VHS, is this is the average of 100 good golf books and videos. So that's the average grip. Very good grip, by the way, for your anatomy to allow your wrist to work easier. And then as I look, I like the capital Y from what I need to do with my kinesio tape, which I will do that. It's here. But imagine, I'm going to get this. Hang on. Hold that thought. We're going to get this. Come here. Hold on. Hold on. Because I want to do this right. Can you hear me? I'll be right back. Hang on. Here I come. Here I come. All right. So now, here we go. Might as well just kind of give you more visuals. You can always stop it, fast forward it. So I'd say this would be a good visual. Special Y tape for the golf swing. So hang tight. So I'm going to say that these white lines complement. I made them the same color as my White Sands Wonder Paint. So now I'm going to give you a visual here. Can you tell where else on my body has some standout white markers? Feet. We're going to get to that. So there, I kind of like that. So there's the Y from the elbows down. By the way, the elbows can be soft. No. Sorry about that 25 years ago. Not left arm straight. Keep your left arm straight. That kind of makes you look kind of weird and actually over tightens up your shoulders. So practice this 299 times with your grip, hot dog in the bun, and then you unlock your knees and you tilt over from the hips. So this is what it looks like down the, which we call this down the line. Unlock, tilt over from the hips. That's a good setup from down the line. In general, out of 100 books, the hands generally hanging down from the shoulder joint. So that's the look right there. And my weight, now let me go down to the special white paint. The weight is towards the front of your ankles, kind of like underneath your shoelaces. So that's what that looks like down there by my feet. Not on your heels, not like this here. So this is athletic, like you're getting ready. You can move around easier, and you're, what we call the ready stance. So you're always going to kind of, I don't like that word always, but you're definitely going to want to keep your weight more ready and balanced towards the balls of your feet there so you can turn easier when we get to the swing here in just a few moments. So back up the chain of a setup. There's the Y. Hang on. The Y I'm going to do this right. The Y of, bear with me, get you a cup of coffee, carry around the phone. That's what I like doing. So I'm going to line this up just so we know. I'm going to start down here. How's that coffee? I like cream and sugar. You got some cream and sugar in there? There's the Y. All right. So now that's the Y. I mean, you'll see that all day long on TV, a lot of this here. There'll be some forward press for certain players, but this is the average setup right here. And then guess where the ball is? The ball is just slightly left of center on average from your nose there. So I kind of call it right here by your right eyeball. But if you just simply stand up, unlock your knees, and then bend over with that Y look that I see, is the ball is just naturally right there by in line with your left eyeball. Because the club head is in the center where your nose is. So now I'm going to practice that 298 times. Just getting into that balanced athletic posture with that Y. While I'm talking to my friend about a sporting event that you saw last night in detail. That's when you know that you can continue to go on to the next skill set. So you just do that slowly but surely, and you'll have that down. So there's the Y, not the small Y. This means no. People say that to you when you top the ball, meaning when you come up and hit the top of it. There's the good setup, so then that way you can turn and unturn or twist or untwist. I always do that a lot. From your chest, shoulders, because 80% of golf is rotation out of an average of 100 books. So that's why this setup is really good. Okay, so let me give you a few minutes to get a few more reps with your Y. Okay, we're done. So then there's your setup for your swing. Now you want to practice, if you have the luxury of some grass in your backyard, go find some weeds and set up like this with a dandelion, maybe some clover, and I want you to simply dig through the clover. And you'll feel the club right here. It's kind of a sharp edge. It's going to dig through the roots of clover, not at, but through. So that you'll see some little dirt like you'll see on TV. The dirt goes flying, and the caddies usually pick it up and patch it up, and the golfer looks like this here. So that's a good habit to get into, which will allow the golf ball to go up in the air by digging through, not by trying to help it up or guide the ball or lift the ball. So you want to practice that 296 times at your own energy level. It could be at 30% energy until you can walk and talk to a friend using an earpiece, and then you can wind up to 60%. And there goes the dirt to my feet. I usually stand in front of people where they dig through the dirt. Once you have that, then this is your voices. They're going to say, hey coach, just put a ball on top of that clover or that dandelion, and I'm ready to dig through it. And as you dig through it, the ball will go up. So that's the general idea of the setup and the drill that was one of my favorite drills in Golf Digest, is digging through the roots to my feet. And I mentioned my feet because I want you to, when you have the luxury of going out to the driving range, I want your eyeballs to be looking kind of low towards my shoes, and the ball will be going up. But things happen easier in your golf swing when you're trying to dig through weeds to my feet over there. I'll let that soak in. So once you dig through the roots, 7 out of 10 times, you're definitely ready to start saying, put a ball there, and I'll be focusing more on digging through the roots underneath the golf ball. And then that's the positive, great frame of mind to be in. So I'm going to jump ahead. And this is one of the best teaching aids. Is I sell these teaching aids, get a little royalty all over a hardware store. Is sometimes they come with some fluffy, hairy, stringy, like a broom, but they're not a broom. I don't know why they put that. You cut them off, and now you have a little dowel here. Then you put your right hand on your chest here, just get it out of the way, and then, and by the way, this is a great size right here, the broom handle. It's about a 1/2 inch. And then you practice this in your backyard. This is fun to do, actually. Is you practice this swing with a dowel. And what I'm telling my students is, can you swish or hear a whip over here out of your left ear? And what happens is you're focusing more on the sound. And then you could do it in slow motion in 294 more times. You're just focusing on sound, and you'll finish with a more natural left elbow, a more natural rebent wrist. Notice how I naturally turn my shoulders. It's just natural because I'm not trying to hit the ball up in the air or guide a ball or steer a ball. You have to trust, by the way, this means given research out of a lot of books that I've studied with motor patterns. Your brain cannot make a change from here and send messages down to your arms or club by the time you hit a ball on a golf course, let alone a driving range. So you got to get set up with the setup I mentioned earlier. And then once you start to do a simple wind up, you have to just trust and let that sound happen with a dowel. Too many people try to guide or steer or lift the ball, and the ball's in control of them. So once you do that, you'll start saying to your voice, hey coach, I can't wait. I think I got it. That usually comes after 300 practice swings, quality. And you can do that at slow motion and then work your way up. Another thing is when you go at slow motion, your body doesn't really know the difference between the slow motion patterns and then a fast one. So do the quality at slow, and then it's easier to speed it up to 60% energy coming from your core. So that's where the energy generates from the core in rotational sports like golf and a lot of baseball. So anyway, what's great is if you're a beginner, you're already digesting the grip of the posture, but as you're more advanced, you're already watching the rest of this video, and you can always pause it and go back and slowly work your way up. So that's why I'm going fast, because I know you can stop it like I do and just rewind. So now you're going to say, coach, I can't wait. I'm going to hold on to this other thing that looks and feels like a dowel, but I practiced so much in my backyard with that finish with a dowel that I'm going to go ahead and just let the ball get in the way as I swing through and have the same feeling and look that I had with a dowel. So that's how you kind of get a rough idea with your setup, hot dog in the bun, with your Y or your capital Y setup by unlocking your knees and tilting over from the hips. Okay? Hands beneath the shoulders. Balance is towards the balls of my feet. So now I'm much more ready to wind up. And then as you dig through the roots of clover that's by your just in front of your nose, towards your left eye, is you'll start to get the ball up in the air. So the thing down the line, this is called down the line, is as far as positions go, you don't want to swing two positions if you can help it. You want to swing through the positions. But in the backswing, out of an average of 100 books, the golf club and the hands are in line with my right shoulder for the right-handers. See that? This is below the shoulders. This is above the shoulder. So if I'm looking down the line, that's one snapshot right there that looks really good and helps increase the probability of swinging back down through the weeds. And then this is the finish, looks over the left shoulder. So right shoulder, left shoulder, okay? And the ball is just in front of your nose by your left eye for your right-handers. So the reason why I think I might have gotten a little mixed up earlier where I might have mentioned the right eye, but actually I'm swinging left-handed, so then you can copy it as a right-hander. This looks a lot better when I go this way, okay? So that's what I like doing, giving you some positive imagery through the screen. So I think that gives you a very good crash course, because I know you can stop it, slow it down, but you can see when I do sections of this, if you want a certain section, let me know and I can go in more depth about it. But the 300 quality swings is a thumbs up. Try not to keep going up in skill set with hitting golf balls until you can do like a 30%er, 7 out of 10 balls. Okay? You just want to do little chunks at a time. I don't like that word, but you want to make little building blocks at a time. But if you practice a lot with this dowel, then this thing is magic, because you're not thinking about the results of a ball and you're just hearing the sound of the whip. And while I have this here, as far as the chips, feet together, I might have you lean a little bit to your left side, and then a general good motion for chipping is when you swing back with the Y, is the dowel points towards your right hip on the back motion, and then as you swing through, the end of the broomstick points towards your left hip right here. And that's a simple way how you start to chip. As you putt, there's the Y, and you just putt with the Y back and forth. And your legs are very still. That's a foundation in putting. Your legs and hips stay very still. Okay? Not like this here where you use the wrist. So I'm showing you the positives of that Y. Practice. Practice.